Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, live from Harlem in New York City. Back on the air, it's me, Alex, and this is the Ramble. Hey, we're talking to our old friend Larry Bubbles Brown. He's out there in San Francisco, California. How are you, Larry?
Good. It's wonderful. Hey, remember this is April Fool's Day used to be people even talk about it anymore.
I even forgot about it. I guess I have to later go pull a trick on Marjorie.
A prank.
Yeah, a prank of some sort. Yeah. Oh, yeah, boy. Anyway, but Larry and I, this is what old people do. Hey, Larry, how are you?
And then we discuss our next ailment.
Yeah, we then have an organ recital. I've been having this back thing. It's just been terrible. I mean, I've never had anything like this before. Usually, I haven't had back problems or anything. But I got out of bed the other day, and all of a sudden, I was just in dire pain. And
I know two people the past year that about our age, and one of them couldn't get out of bed. It hurt so bad.
Yeah. Yep.
It just came on like that. He said he woke up and that was it.
And did it go away?
Yeah, but for him it took like 3 days.
3 days? Oh, well, I'm on my third day, and it hasn't gotten better. And then the best thing I can take for it is like ibuprofen, but my kidneys are affected by ibuprofen, and my kidneys aren't in great shape.
Very hard on the kidneys.
Yeah. But it is the one thing that will kill pain. I even took one of Marjorie's like heavy-duty painkillers that she takes that I probably shouldn't be taking. It's something that oxy something or morphine something, and I tried it yesterday, and I got high, but didn't do anything about the back.
Man, I'd love to get some morphine.
Yeah. Well, my age, I could do morphine every day, and it wouldn't matter, So, I mean, I've decided I'm going to try every drug I never tried at this age. Because why not? Why not?
Right?
Right?
Sure.
I've heard heroin's a pretty good high, And it isn't as addictive as you think it is. It's only addictive if you keep doing it for about 6 weeks. Otherwise, you just had one day that you got high and you saw what it was like.
I was always curious about that because when I grew up, if you hit it once, you're hooked for life.
Well, they did things like the movie The Man with the Golden Arm. And then he goes through all these horrible withdrawals, And people said that was the worst thing for heroin recovery ever done, because it made people think that if you tried to stop it, it was going to be like that. It was going to be just horrible. And the fact is that heroin, I read a book once on heroin in which they said there are a lot of myths about heroin, like the one you mentioned, which is if you try it the first day, you're automatically hooked.
Yeah.
And it said, no, you need about 6 weeks of abuse to get a habit. And the habit is created because your endorphins stop producing endorphins. Because your body recognizes that you've got some kind of endorphin in your system, and it's heroin. All right? So it doesn't need to produce its own. And that's why when you stop, you go through withdrawal. It's because your body says, I need the endorphins. Come on, give me the endorphins. And they do not start up again for about a year. So that's what the problem is with with heroin. But, like when I was at the hospital with my kidney, I would call the nurse in and she'd say, what do you want? I said, I need more morphine. And then they would say, well, what's your level of pain? And I learned that you never tell the nurse it's a 6. because then they'll just give you a 6 worth of help, right? Mm-hmm. But if you say it's a 9 or a 10, they're shoving the morphine right up your arm.
That's why good to know.
So never say the pain is less than it really is. If you want to get high, just say it's a 9 and the morphine's coming along any minute now. They just turn that spigot of that thing that's been going into your arm for days, So.
Now, there have been some famous people that were heroin users, right?
Yeah. There's what they were what they called weekend warriors. They were weekend heroin users. They would just do it on the weekends, and
really?
So they never got hooked, really. But I knew a guy. Well, the guy I really knew who was a heroin addict was Dr. John. You remember Dr. John?
I know the name.
He did one of our shows, one of our Breakfast with Bennett's. He was an out and out heroin addict,
Real.
Yeah, and I would go to his hotel room, and I'd say I got to go use the bathroom, and I'd go into the bathroom and there's blood all over the walls, or they'd shot up and missed the vein or something like that.
Oh my God.
No, the problem with it is it's just a disgusting, horrible habit, but it's not as bad as some other things,
It doesn't seem like a lot of people OD on heroin like they do other drugs.
Well, yeah, but what happens is they went along. Remember, they said, "Oh, we have a cure for heroin addiction. It's called what was it called?
Methadone.
Methadone." In fact, there was a little song that I remember that somebody made up that went, "Rockefeller's selling skag, but he says it's phony. Put a needle in your arm and call it methadone." Yeah, they got this thing. They said, we'll give you methadone, okay? But all that was a state-sanctioned, highly addictive material. So if they wanted to get you off heroin, they say, "Oh, hey, here you can do the what's it called again? Come on, I forgot it. You said it a few minutes ago. Methadone. They say, do the methadone because you can get that from the state. The state will give you the methadone because they didn't want heroin. They should have just given you heroin. It was easier to get you off heroin than off of methadone. To get off of heroin takes about 3 days. To get off of methadone takes about 3 months. So, why not take the thing, just nobody wanted to say, "Oh, let's make heroin legal." They do in England, so. You never did any kind of drugs, did you?
No, not at all.
No. You don't smoke pot. You've tried pot, you told me, but it just got you dizzy, and that was it.
No, I tried cocaine and didn't do anything and made me slightly nervous. I think maybe I took a puff of pot and I just coughed and didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, coke. I did coke for many years there when you knew me doing the radio show.
I never knew. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have a little bottle in my pocket with a little spigot on it, so you could almost do it around people and they wouldn't notice you were doing it. And I did it for quite a while, and then I quit it. I quit it when I went to. And now, in recent years, I find I've tried it a couple of times because, hey, I'm old. What the hell? That stuff's going to kill you. Yeah, so's life.
Well, I could see cocaine. You're doing morning radio. You need something to keep you going.
It helped.
Hours.
It helped a great deal. But the only reason I didn't stop is a great fear that there was some kind of unpleasant after effects for not doing it. And the fact of the matter was, I stopped and there were no after effects. I just stopped and that was it. My nose felt better the next day. Okay. But I mean, it's just that we should let everybody have whatever drug they want and go have a good time, And even if it's something that can kill them, that's their decision, you know?
Right.
And quite frankly, we can use the parking spaces.
Yeah. What are the drugs that were around when we were growing up? Heroin, morphine? No, morphine. I had morphine once in the hospital. That was beautiful.
Oh,
My
it's beautiful.
God.
It's lovely. It's really good. And if you've got pain, it does kill the pain. There's no
Yeah.
question about it. But I was in there, and I had the pain of the kidney stone. It was really quite grueling. And they would give me the morphine, and the pain would it was almost like you were sitting there, and they injected it into you had a drip in your arm, okay? And the drip for me was just saline that went in there in order to like flush out the kidney stone. Took it about 3.5 days. In the meantime, if I needed morphine, they simply just shot the morphine into the drip, and then they do it, and all of a sudden I go, wow.
Yeah, you feel like it feels like if there is a heaven, that was it.
Yeah, just wow. And all the pain went away. It was just like I could feel the pain where the pain was. There was just this kind of release that happened. Oh, it was wonderful. It was terrific. Everybody try morphine. When you go to the hospital, if you're in pain, they ask you, how much pain do you have on a scale of 1 to 10? Say 9. You're going to be in heaven, okay? But anyway, so I've known a couple of people who did heroin, and the thing that made it so terrible for them was it wasn't easily available, and so they were like, they were in bad shape. Those guys,
I get it.
huh?
They were street dealers.
I don't know. But the thing was also that I'm surprised you didn't do more drugs, because where did I go where they always had drugs? Was the clubs.
Yeah.
There was one club, I won't say the name of it, but I won't say who it is, but it was a club called Tommy T's.
I never saw any drugs there.
Really? You never went into the back room because, I was Mr. Radio guy, and they wanted to keep me happy, so they brought out the drugs. Who first introduced me to cocaine was the guy who was my general manager at KMEL. And I would go in, he would call me into his office, say, I want to see you in my office, right? I'm thinking, he's going to fire me or something like that, because that's always the paranoid delusion you have. And I go in, and he'd say, great show, and he'd have like lines of Coke on the table. He says, here, have a couple. My treat for a good show.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's where it started for me with Coke. Before that, it was just pot, So anyway, that was my addiction. Did you ever have an addiction to anything? I mean, like coffee?
I think Diet Coke and Coke. Yeah.
Diet Coke? Well, you go for the caffeine there. And then there's people who say, well, no, I don't do drugs. I'm a health nut. I run every day. And I go, are you out of your mind? You say you're not doing drugs and you run every day? What do you and you run every day, right?
Every other day, yeah.
Do you get high?
I don't get high, but if I don't run, it's very depressing.
All right. That's because your body is saying, I need those endorphins. Running, it's what's called a runner's high. And it's very close to what a high is on heroin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason you're running is you run so much that you create certain pain in your body, which is then taken care of by the body producing a lot of endorphins. And so you then walk away high. You never got high from it?
No, but I read about some people that do, and there's this woman, they do these 100-mile runs. And she said, talk about drugs, she was hallucinating while she was running. But
Really?
Yeah, it was definitely doing something to her.
Well, you never run that hard, right?
No, I do like 6 miles. I'm kind of slow, so it's not a
Yeah, okay. So you don't take it to the point where your body goes, "Oh, I need
No,
endorphins."
but yeah, these guys do 100-mile runs. They hallucinate and go,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, I never ran, mainly because I'm lazy, and so I never run.
Yeah, you're probably better off. It's very punishing to the body.
It's just everything in your body shakes and flops up and down, and I never.
Yeah, not good.
Now Marjorie was a runner; she did it a lot.
Wow.
But she is also a very highly addictive person. I don't have her here, so she'd be yelling at me for saying this, I guess. But
when I first met you, I remember you had a bicycle.
Yes, I did.
It's hard to imagine you biking. I don't know.
I bicycled out through the Presidio out to Fort Point. That's where Kim Novak jumped in the water in Vertigo. And then I would go back on my bike, and I'd do this maybe every day. And then one day somebody stole my bike, so I got another one, and it didn't feel the same. So I never did the bike anymore. Got rid of that one, But I really, I enjoyed doing the bike. It was a good little piece of exercise for me, and the reason I liked it is because I don't like going into a gym and they've got the stationary bikes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that because you're not going anywhere.
Talk about boring. Jesus.
Yeah, you're just sitting still, pumping away at a bicycle. The only time you'll get any kind of view is if, say, you get one of those, what are the ones everybody got at home, and it had a screen, and I used to be able to do it so I could drive bicycle out to Fort Point on my bike here in New York, because that was the video that was running.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, well, then I figured I could really use a bike right now, and Marjorie got rid of the one she bought. She bought one of those Pelotons,
Mm-hmm.
and then she got rid of it just about the time that I needed it, for this neuropathy. So anyway, but your exercise is basically running.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a little running outfit you put on every day?
No, I would just beat up old sweatshirt and sweatpants.
Oh, all right. And then you just run. What kind of shoes do you use?
Saucony.
What?
Saucony. Saucony.
What's Saucony?
It's they were made in Boston. Now they're all made in China, of course.
They're made in Boston, but now they're made in China.
They were the last American running shoe. When I started running in the '80s, they were been made in Massachusetts, but now they're.
Wow.
You remember they used to build stuff in this country and make things here.
Yeah, they used to. I heard about that.
They had factories and people had jobs.
What amazes me is we have this dumb president who thinks that if he puts a tariff on like cars, then we'll build more cars in America. But what do we have to have in order to build those cars in America? Parts from China and Mexico. So, he's not going to be able to do away with it. And I think that most people don't even want to, want to do that. It's just not in their DNA anymore. This is not a country that produces stuff.
It used to be.
It used to be, but that was because that was the nature of the world, Today, the nature of the world is parts and cars and everything are made all over the world. Back in the days when you and I were growing up, the reason they were built here is because that was what was available, So anyway, it's kind of stupid. Yeah. Your car is how old, Larry?
It's a 2000.
It is.
Toyota.
It is
Toyota that was made. It's actually made in America. But
It's a Toyota,
Mm-hmm.
and you've had it since 2000.
I was given to me by a friend in 2009.
Oh, I see. It's a 2000. That's the year on it. You got
Yeah.
it in
Well, I've
2009.
had it for 16 years.
Yeah, that's a long time to have a car.
Yeah, and it's got 536,000 miles on it.
That's not a lot considering how old it is.
Let's see. Well, that'd be 20, 25 years, so it's 4,000 for a
But
half.
how much does it stay together? In other words, have you had it fall apart on you a lot lately?
Never, never.
Never.
No.
I mean, you've had stuff go bad on it, and you had to take it in and have it replaced, right?
I had a starter replaced and a radiator replaced, but it never broke down. It never stranded me anywhere.
That's it. All you had to do was a starter and a radiator.
Yeah.
You know that. By the way, I argue about that with Marjorie. If I had her in here and I said, "What is it in the front of the car that emits steam? You know, gets hot, has a grill on it. What's that called?" And she would say, "Radiator."
Ratty.
And I say, "Marjorie, it's radiator. In fact, we have radiators heating our apartment." And she says, "The radiators aren't on yet."
Ratty.
And I said, I don't want to argue with you, but it's radiator. The other thing I have problems with her is the name Shapiro is pronounced what? How?
Shapiro.
She calls it Shapiro.
Oh.
Oh.
Shapiro.
And the governor of a state she came from, Pennsylvania, is named Shapiro. And she says it's Shapiro. I said, listen to him pronounce it, you know. But anyway, so. Oh, hey, listen, I have a question to ask you. You're very good on dates and,
Yeah.
so on. Marjorie and I were married on, let me see here, the 27th of March in 2012, I believe it was. Yeah, 2012.
2012.
What day of the week was it? That's what I want to know.
2012, 27th of March. Well, the 17th was a Saturday. The 24th was a Saturday. 25. It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday? Was it really? Huh. I thought it was later than that, but it was Tuesday? You sure of it?
That's what I'm saying, but it's early and March.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. What day of the week was March 27th, 2012? Oh, wait a minute. Echo. What day of the week was March 27th, 2012?
Tuesday, right?
March 27th, 2012 was on a Tuesday.
It was on a Tuesday. You were absolutely right. You're amazing.
I'm an amazing man.
Yeah, you're amazing. Don't worry, folks. He has a trick for doing it, and if you want to learn how to do it, just get a hold of Larry and ask him.
Well, I can tell you how I did that one.
Okay, how'd you do it?
Okay, my short-term memory is not good, so March 12th, I was looking at the calendar is the same every 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at 1984.
Mm-hmm.
In 1984, I vividly remember on March 17th, I went down to a cattle call audition in the Civic Center for a movie called Birdie.
Yeah, which you got the part, right?
I had a little party, and that was a Saturday. I remember it was very windy. I went down to Warren Spotswood and Milt Abel.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that. I remember it was a Saturday, the 17th. So
Mm-hmm.
I just then I said the 24th would be a Saturday, and 25, 26, 27 was a Tuesday. So that's how I did that.
That's how you did that. Yeah. By the way, Robert Altman directed Birdie, didn't he? No.
No, Robert, what's his name? From English guy.
The English guy. Hmm.
He did Midnight Express. Alan Parker.
Alan Parker. Oh, okay.
And my audition was actually in front of him. I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah. How many lines did you have?
Well, I had about 6 or 7 in the audition, but the part I got was just the part in the movie, just a close-up of me looking depressed.
Hey, listen, we've
run in a mental institution.
We've run out of time here, Larry.
Well, yes.
I hate when that happens. It means I have to get on with my day. Anyway, thank you so much, Larry, and we'll talk again next week, hopefully. Okay, bye-bye.
Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Well, hell, thank you very much, Larry. How are you, everybody? How are you? Yeah, I'm here. I'm back. I was off for 2 days because I had a real bad situation. What happened was, I can't remember what day it was. I think it was maybe Sunday. I got up from sleeping, and I almost couldn't walk. I mean, it was just this something was wrong where I couldn't get out of bed without my legs hurting, and my back was hurting and everything. And if I would sit in this chair for more than, say, I don't know, say 10 minutes or something like that, I couldn't get up. So I thought about doing the show on Wednesday, but then I said, if I sit here for an hour, I'm not going to be able to get out of the chair. I'm going to be in terrible shape. So that was that. And I didn't do the show on Wednesday. And I did the show on Monday, did that show. But I didn't do the show on Wednesday because it really gotten terrible. And Thursday it was even worse. So yesterday we made a appointment with a doctor to see me today over at Mount Sinai in the spine section of that hospital. And we went over there and they did an x-ray of me and everything and decided that there's really nothing wrong that isn't going to work itself out, that somehow I probably threw my posture off or something. I did something wrong, and I mean I was in horrible pain. I mean I literally couldn't get out of bed, and if I had to get up out of it, it was painful. Well, today I go to the doctor, and as it would be, I felt better. But I went anyway, and he checked me out, and he said, you probably threw something out. I don't know what it was or what it could be, but I'm looking. He took x-rays, and he said the x-rays don't show anything else except the skeletal remains of a human being who's 85 years old. And so he couldn't, do that. Nobody's calling tonight, huh? So you all faked out on me. You all gave up on me. I put up a thing tonight saying we were going to be here tonight. So I thought people would call in and join me. Did that get up there? I'm sure it got up there. Let me look here. Yeah, it says Ramble tonight. We are better. Okay. And yet I have absolutely nobody calling tonight except for Jeff Stein. And while I love Jeff, that is not enough for me to do a show. So if I don't hear from somebody in about the next 5 minutes or so, we will turn the show off, and not do it tonight. I guess I have nothing else to talk about except for the fact that a lot of us have lost a lot of money in the last couple of days, haven't we, huh? Because of this stupid president that we've got. And he just, he's amazing. Anyway, here comes Tom Yamaguchi. Let me bring these people on. Here's Alan. Okay, people are starting to call now. Okay, let me bring these people on. Okay, there is. Let's see here. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Okay.
And hello to Jeff. And hello to Alan. Hello, Alan. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah, Jeff, would you bring your camera up a little bit so we can see all of you? There we go. There we go. And there's Kevin. Okay, now we got ourselves a little thing going. Anyway, I was out for 2 nights, and it was the prospect of sitting here for an hour, and in great pain, did not seem to be like a good idea for me. But it seems as though today I'm feeling a bit better. And the doctor says if you just wait a couple of days, it's probably all going to go away. So that's good news, too. He gave me a thing to go to physical therapy, but I don't know if I want to do physical therapy for this, Right, Kevin? Prospect of sitting here. Oh, you can't hear me yet? Can you hear me?
Reboot.
Reboot?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I thought my microphone was out because I just had to do an update and all kinds of crap, and it was just going haywire. So I was waiting for it to come back, but I guess you can hear me.
Yeah,
So.
somebody's got their audio up, though.
Is that me?
Not me.
No? Let me see here. I guess maybe it was Kevin.
That was my phone going in the background because I kept trying to call in because I thought weren't getting any calls. I was going to let you know that I was going to call, but I had to reboot and then Zoom updated. And all
Okay, let me bring these people in, by the way. I just noticed that I hadn't put them up here. There they are. There
By
they
the
are.
way, I've got something for Kevin if you let me share my screen.
Sure.
Is it possible to share my screen?
I don't know, but you can give it a try.
I'm not seeing it on the panel here.
Yeah, I guess you can.
Oh, bummer, because I have an image of dude wipes.
Dude wipes. By the way, they first showed up on what do you call it, on Shark Tank.
Shark Tank, yeah.
Yeah, and they're one of the more successful companies to have gone through Shark Tank. People apparently love the idea of dude wipes. So,
This was from a Costco email ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bought some dude wipes. I love my dude wipes. You sent me some, didn't you, Kevin?
I didn't know.
Who sent me some?
I did.
It was you. Yeah. Yeah, they're good. They're terrific. They're almost better than any of the other stuff.
I put them in the truck so in case I got to stop on the road or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Yeah. So anyway, how many of you out there have lost money in the last couple of days?
Don't even talk about that. I was just looking a few minutes ago.
Now, I asked my business manager, I said, are we still good for the rest of our lives? He said, yes, you're fine.
It's typical up and down crap.
As long as you don't need more than $49 a week.
Yeah, well, this is not the typical up and down crap, though.
No, it's not.
This was a self-inflicted national emergency.
It's the e-ticket ride.
Yeah. And he goes, oh, well, I'm going to go down and play golf. Yeah, fine.
Most of the other countries took big dives, too, so it's not just us.
Well, they all took big dives, of course, but they took big dives because they were all being affected by this as well. Everybody, almost without exception, maybe with the exception of Phil, felt this was the most idiotic thing any president has done in history. Okay? That it was a bad idea. You could have, yes, sure, we want to bring business back to America. We'd like to have manufacturing be here. But you don't do it this way. This is not the way you do it. What you do is you create incentives for people to do business here. and doing the tariff thing, that is so 1920s, right? It's a idea who at one time almost worked, but now in this present day and age with the present world economy, it just doesn't work. And in a matter of 3 days, he managed to dump the United States economy into the toilet.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I'm at 20 grand.
what do you mean? You're 20 grand you've lost already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I lost 20, I guess I'll be happy. If I lost 50, I'd be happy because I still have enough more money to survive, and to do quite well. But I don't want to have to, my money was doing just fine. Leave me the hell alone. I don't need some moron, who went to, I don't know, what school did he go to again? He went to Wharton. And apparently he didn't learn anything while he was there.
He was a janitor, wasn't he?
He was a janitor at Wharton, yes, exactly.
So I have a T-shirt I used to wear all the time, and I just found it and the other 5 that I ordered by accident. I think I should have changed it. It's simple.
What?
See what it says on the T-shirt?
Allergic to stupid people. Yeah.
Yeah, it should have said stupid politicians. I didn't realize we were going to.
Well, this was just, this is something that for years he's just been a fan of, is tariffs. And it's a misconception because it's something that doesn't work in this day and age. This is not the way you bring business back to America. And one of the ways you bring business back to America is make Americans willing to take low-paying production jobs, because the reason why we can't compete with the rest of the world is because the rest of the world does not have as high, you go to a place like China, you've got people there working for next to nothing.
That's why everything went over there.
That's why everything went over there. And don't you think businesses are going to go where it's cheap?
Yep.
And so now we have a trade war going, and we have everybody mad at us, and we've completely disassociated ourselves from the rest of the world, and it's terrible. It is just terrible what's happened here. Tom, your thoughts?
By the way, I just posted that Dude Wipes picture on your Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see here.
Well,
I may get rid of it once I see it.
Kamala Harris was giving a speech today, and she says, "I've been trying to resist not saying I told you so, but I told you so."
Yeah, I'm going to get rid of it here just because I need the room for people to see my, the videos and things like that, and that takes up too much space. But thank you very much. Tonight's Ramble brought to you by Dude Wipes. I'll leave it up till the end of the show. Okay. Let me see here. Let me get rid of this other thing here. Yeah, let me move my thing that said that I was going to be on tonight off. Okay. And we'll leave that up till the end of the show so everybody can look at it. Let me see here. Did anybody else call? Oh, I thought somebody else called here. Oh, there he is. Tony. Hello, Tony.
Hey, Alex. How you feeling?
How am I feeling? Well, on what level? So far as physically?
Yeah, I'm going to go physically.
Physically, I'm still kind of a little off, but I'm better. Okay. On the other hand, so far as the economy is concerned, not so good.
No, please. Don't even tell me. I lost a lot.
I thought yesterday when we were down, I don't know what, 1,500, something like that on the Dow. I went, okay, well, tomorrow it'll bounce back up. And today it was worse.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys heard, Warren Buffett just had to put out a memo, a release. Trump is putting on his page that he was like congratulating him on the economy and what his plan was. And he put it out there saying, I did not say no such thing of the kind.
Yeah,
So
that was in the news yesterday, wasn't it?
It's just breaking now, though. More than
really, the only news I ever pay attention to is the business news.
Yeah, but I mean, Warren Buffett, I don't think would find this a good idea.
No, he had to put a release out there to
Him
say.
and Trump don't like each other, so why would he do it?
Yeah, but Trump was putting it on his Truth Social. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, probably. He lies like crazy anyway. You know, he lies about everything.
Alex, me and my brother can't even watch him anymore. I get violently sick, really looking at him.
Well, you know, the fact that he just blatantly lies. You know, when he says, "Oh, everything's just fine. This was just like a patient we operated on, and he's coming back to good health again."
You know what I was going to tell you?
No, actually, the patient
Yeah.
died on the table. I don't think he noticed that. You know,
Alex, when they put you out, it's like, but who is asking you to operate on me? Really? He's playing casino with all our money, really.
Well, here's one that got me. He was saying he was doing the negotiating for the sale of TikTok. Now, what's he doing negotiating the sale of TikTok? TikTok is owned by ByteDance, which is a Chinese corporation. Now, if they want to sell it, fine. But if they don't want to sell it, fuck you. You know?
I was giving him another 75 days. Why?
Yeah, and now he's giving him another 75 days.
Why?
Yeah.
And did you hear about the Vietnam? They're open to negotiations. You know what I found out? He's building in Vietnam property.
Well, there are these, this is true, and I'm sure you've seen this story. There are two islands down by Antarctica.
Oh.
Okay. Donald Trump put a 10% tariff on those two islands. And the only thing that inhabits those two islands are penguins.
Can I ask Tom a question, Alex, and everybody, but basically to Tom, because you're big into politics. Tom, even Alex, to both of you, because I respect you both. I mean, I don't mean it about the other guys. Did you ever see such a shit show with this guy? Like, is he the worst?
Well, yeah, we saw it in 2017 through 2021.
Came out with that fucking thing, Alex.
It's Shit Show Part 2.
And it made no sense with the whole thing. Even Jim Cramer's flipping on him now. He's
see that?
That had
I saw the same thing at Jim Cramer. He doesn't even know where he came up with the formula. He goes, what numbers did he come up with?
I heard it was from Chat GPT. I did hear that.
Really?
Probably.
If you put in the right question in Chat GPT, it comes up with almost the exact percentages.
He's playing with an unresearched or AI and test on all our frickin' lives here in the
world. Yeah. One guy is tanking the world.
Yeah. Everybody's 401k. One guy. You know what this remembers? I'll tell you guys this. I told this to my brother. The president should never have this much power to push this through.
No way.
Maniac like this.
No, well, but he's taking the power and he's using his power, and he feels that because he had a mandate, which he didn't have, but he feels he has a mandate, and that he can do all this stuff, you know. And the fact is that he really can't. I mean, he's not allowed to do a lot of this stuff.
If he can't, he's just going to challenge the legal system.
And he's just going to do it. And when the courts say don't do it, he's going to say, fuck you to the courts. And what are the courts going to do?
Delay, delay, delay.
Yeah.
That's his middle name.
Yep. Yeah. But he's not willing to admit he's all wrong on this one. And, you know, anytime you see the stock market do what it's done in the last 3 days, that should be a message to you that somebody is trying to tell you you're wrong. But no,
Paul ran today on one of the
Rand Paul.
Rand
Paul's against him on this
Either
deal.
Way. Even he's going nuts over the GOP budget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's going nuts over this too.
Yeah, but that don't happen. Not that I like the guy, but
no, but Rand Paul,
he's
a lot of the people that were on his side are not on his side now. And what they've done in the Senate is they've got enough votes to be able to pass through this vote to do away with the Canadian tariffs. They're trying to pass a law to do away with the Canadian tariffs. In which case, Trump can't overrule them or something. You know, so
isn't it amazing that he's
the House too? Wouldn't it have to go
What?
through the House too?
No, I think it can just be done by the Senate, according to what I saw. Yeah, on this, you know. What were you going to say?
Oh, isn't it amazing that he's tariffing every country except Russia?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Saudi
Maybe it's all
Arabia.
because of a P tape.
And Ukraine. I didn't see Ukraine on the
And
list.
Ukraine.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing that I
And
saw
Saudi
there,
Arabia.
when he held up that
Fucking
board,
stone.
that
Imagine over
board,
his face. Yeah.
I was so hoping that thing was going to blow his ass over.
yeah.
Like the Ten Commandments.
To
Moses.
begin with, how bad was that? You know, he could have gone to his TV people and said, put up a chyron of this stuff so we can just put it up on the screen and I can talk about it. You know?
Because his face wouldn't be there.
Yeah,
That's
it was horrible. He also came on stage with a cap just in case the wind was too heavy.
I hate him, really. I'm hoping he gets cancer.
Then he turned around and gave it to.
You
one of
hope
the
he gets
auto
cancer.
workers, yeah.
We got him. Why can't he get it worse than us, Alex?
Hmm?
God does not want him. I prayed to my mother to take him.
Yeah. He said, no, don't
Please
give him to
take
me.
him. I think he's got to go down.
God doesn't want him.
I think you're right.
I prayed. I swear to God. I used to go to the cemetery. I said, Ma, come on. They're ready. You don't want him, Alex.
Yeah. Yeah.
She used to call him the pig man. You know what I told my brother? He killed us first with COVID. Now he's coming after your savings.
Mm-hmm.
What's next, really? What can he do next? It's like, I thought of you, Alex, when he came out. You're right. It was like The Apprentice. My brother, it's like the TV show. We can't watch this anymore. I said, I can't take it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. You know. It's in the toilet. You know. And how much did you say you lost? Did you say, Kevin, that you lost $50,000?
I don't
No,
know.
it was up
Look
to
at what I-
19 something.
Oh, 19 something.
Oh, that's nothing.
I don't
It's
even
only
want to
two of
look.
my accounts. I didn't even look at
Still,
my
I don't mean it
phone.
like that. I lost over 60 easy.
Really?
Yeah. I've been holding Apple and Microsoft for 20 years, so you can only imagine what I lost. I'm ready to. I curse at him on the screw when I walk by.
Well, you know, these are people who all were kind of kissing his ass. I mean, Apple kissed his ass.
Yeah, he's going to build over here.
And what he's doing is he's screwing them over with this. I mean, you ready to buy one of these? Let's see, these things. This one is $1,200. This thing's $1,200. I wouldn't be surprised if it's $2,000 tomorrow.
And Alex, do you see when Nintendo was going to buy the Switch 2? They held off now on releasing the price because of the tariffs.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to charge me $80 for a fucking Super Mario game now that was $50.
What was I thinking about tonight, though?
What?
Couldn't China
Yeah.
lower the prices on their goods and then add the tariff to it to bring them up to what they were, for instance, for Apple?
Mm-hmm.
Somehow charge them 34% less or something, okay? So they can now sell their product for exactly what they've always sold it for. You know. Also, the other thing that Trump doesn't take into consideration is they don't need him.
No.
You know, there's the whole world economy, and they can just sell all the stuff into the, you know, into the economy, into the world, you know. Hello, Charlie, you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Did you miss me?
Yes, I did. That was very bad of you not to be here.
Yeah, well, I was not well. I was not well.
I have a bad back.
Yeah, well, this thing, I don't know what it was, but it's getting a little bit better now. I'll probably sit here for an hour or so and then be able to get up and walk out of here. But it's still rough for me, you know. But anyway, so what's your take on all of this, Charlie?
I'm sorry, what have you been talking about?
We've been talking. What else will we be talking about?
Yeah.
Huh?
Trump's just gone off the deep end. He's crazy.
Yeah, well, you know, And a lot of his Republican friends are just trying to go, well, he must know what he's doing. Really? You believe that? You look at his history of not being able to own a casino and make money out of it?
They're actually handing you money and he's giving it back. Really?
Yeah. I mean, come on. The guy's never been a good businessman. What makes you think he's going to be now?
He's gonna bankrupt the country.
Yeah, Alex. For years, every time I think about Trump and his supporters, I keep thinking of the same story. I just blanked out on his name. The guy who wrote Fables. Oh, James Thurber.
Mm-hmm.
Did the Fables for Our Time, and there's one particular fable called "The Owl Who Is God." And it's where all the creatures in the forest decided that the owl was the wisest and the greatest, because every time they answered a question, he would answer. And of course, it was different forms of who and what, who and who, things like that. And so they decided to follow the owl wherever he went. And then his command was to it. And so they followed him onto a road where there was a big truck coming on their way and just ran right over and smashed them all. So I just love that story. If you ever get a chance, it's The Owl Who Was God. And I think that pretty much characterizes the MAGA movement.
Well, I think a lot of people who thought this guy was going to be a good idea are suddenly changing their minds. And you know what he said yesterday, I think it was? He said, and the price of eggs are down by 50%.
Where?
What grocery store is that? I want to go to it immediately.
He wouldn't know. He doesn't go shopping.
Funnier thing was when he says groceries. Groceries are great. They're things in a bag.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's such a douche.
It's basically what he said during his speech.
Condescending.
There's many things in a bag.
Many things in a bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many things in a bag.
Groceries.
Never seen a grocery store in his life.
You've probably never seen a grocery bag in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they drop it off at the front door.
Yeah.
Remember when he said you had to show an ID to buy bread?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
He said that a bunch of times.
Yeah, he
That
did.
was the first shit show. It's just like, why did people suddenly forget how bad things were and then convince themselves that things were good and then vote for him again? That's what I just don't understand. I remember.
Well, in Las Vegas, they have these. You can bet on almost anything using these betting apps. Okay, and I think that one of them, I bet it already exists.
Let me see. I'll take a look for you.
Wait a minute.
What a future?
Huh?
I got
future
that I can take a look if you want.
No,
to. Go ahead.
I'm wondering if they have a betting thing on how long it will take him in a given speech to mention Biden.
I'm sure they do.
How many? Yeah, that would be. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, how long will it take? That's the bet.
Prop bets.
30 seconds at most.
The other day, he was going through most of his speech, did not mention Biden. I looked at Marjorie and went, he hasn't mentioned Biden in this speech, and all of a sudden, Biden.
Oh. How much can they keep blaming Biden to? This is ridiculous. Because I want the old guy back.
Well, I mean, to begin with, I mean, he's the purveyor of the big lie. That if you just say something over and over again, eventually people will believe it is true, and they believe that Biden was horrible. But if you look at the history of Biden and what he did while he was in office, I mean, he wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible.
He was competent.
He wasn't.
He was competent.
He wasn't this terrible.
Calm things down.
Yeah, he wasn't this terrible.
Yeah. He didn't appoint anybody that have state secrets on Gmail.
Yeah. Oh, and the latest one is RFK Jr. He says
Oh,
that you don't
see
need to get measles shots. You can take, what was it he said?
Yeah.
Cod liver oil.
Cod liver oil, and some
What a
kid just
clown.
died from an overdose of cod liver oil.
I couldn't believe
Where
that
the hell did he
shit, too,
come up
right?
with this crap?
That guy's a clown. He's a clown. I can't stand him.
Listen,
He's gonna make us healthy.
he's manna from heaven compared to Trump.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, just think about what you just said. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how incompetent all these people are.
They're so incompetent that they use a signal to do state secrets.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and then how they try to parse that thing that it really wasn't a secret. It wasn't a secret thing.
It wasn't classified.
It wasn't classified.
It wasn't a classified conversation.
When the drones are going to be firing on a certain place is not, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, and there's nothing we can do about this.
No.
What are we going to do about it?
I think the only thing that would change, the only way to change it is if the Republicans saw how bad it's getting and then Congress did something. But
he's right.
Well,
it doesn't look like they're going to do
start,
that.
You're going to start seeing that closer to the midterms. Yeah. You're going to see a lot of them bailing close to the midterms because they don't care whether they have his support or not. They want to get the support of the people who are voting for them. And they're whores like anybody else, So they're going to be there, kissing their constituency's ass. But right now they don't have to do it because it isn't the midterms yet. Right.
But
he still has like 46% approval rating.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not good, though.
But how the hell does he still have 46%?
Okay, but
I would have taken it out this weekend if it's worse.
Most presidents at this point have something around a 60%.
Yeah, I know.
Then they get worse. But at this point, all he should have done during his first part of his term is to try and engender goodwill. And he's
not
done
his
quite.
Style.
Huh?
Not his style at all.
No, I mean,
they know it's going to blow up on them, so they try to do everything. In the first
hey, America, if your 401k isn't worth as much today as it was yesterday, don't say we didn't tell you. Okay, don't say you didn't know. All you had to do was, as you say, go back and look at his first term, and remember you didn't like him after it was over. You remember that? Well, why? And yet you elected him, so screw you. I hope you lose every penny you've got, along with me.
No, exactly. Yeah.
No, actually, I have more money than those people. Okay, so that I can lose $50,000, and I've still got enough to take care of me for the rest of my life. All right, but they don't.
That's true. I mean, I can lose some money.
They don't. They just have those little 401ks, which maybe we're starting to make them some money, but now they're not making the money any longer.
And what happens if they start getting laid off? If things start really going bad?
Well, if you work for the government, you're going to get laid off.
Yeah, you didn't do your job. I had to email this guy, what'd you do this week? Nothing. I slept in. I mean, really.
How is it that Elon Musk is allowed to lay people off? That I can't even understand.
Yeah, exactly.
How is this even a possibility?
Because
it's the strangest
because
thing.
Trump said he could.
When you pay Trump $350 million, he's your boss. Really, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
it's not a democracy
anymore. The first good thing.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's done the first nice thing.
But
against Trump.
But in Florida, they still did okay.
Yeah, but they lost 20 points from how Trump took it just 2 months ago. I mean, back in November.
So, yeah.
Those were really safe seats.
That
the Democrats did that well was, it should be part of the wake-up call.
I think that was an 80% red area.
Yeah.
Wow. And a lot of districts, the Republicans only won by 5 or 10 points. If they have a 20-point swing there.
Yeah, sure.
Well, it's amazing also that there has been this what do you call it, this backlash against Trump this early.
Yeah.
I mean, this early in a term, you just get to know the people and you say, hey, I'm going to help you here and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. You don't just completely undermine the entire economy of the country.
Yeah.
And then make enemies of every country around the world.
Yeah, you can't make Canada. What did we ever do to them? I mean, really?
Oh, we should have gone. I've said this before. We should go to war against Canada because it's the last thing they'd expect, and we could win.
This one, yeah.
I mean,
a million people. That's a million people that won't vote for him next time.
Yeah, that's true too.
Oh, it's a terrible thing. It's just terrible all the way around. So
Tomorrow, I guess there's going to be thousands and thousands of people walking through New York and other places, probably
All
every
around
major city.
Marjorie went, you want to go on the march and on the walk or whatever? And I said, I can't walk. I mean, what I said to Marjorie is a while back I thought about I should get out and demonstrate more often. And then I thought about it and I said, I did a lot of marching in my time. I did a lot of demonstrating in my time. I even got tear gassed and kicked in the shins and everything else, okay? Now it's the time for the younger people to do it, and it's time for me to stand back and just cheer them on, But I don't have the ability to really go out on those marches. And I don't know what a march would do. I mean, what is a march going to do in New York City? Okay, it's going to make everybody who's marching feel good about themselves. But is Trump going to pay attention to that? Nah.
I wonder if the media will cover it, Alex. You think they'll show it, or
the media will cover it? Oh yeah, sure. The media.
He won't see it. He'll be golfing.
Yeah, he'll be golfing
with the Saudis.
Yeah,
golfing with the Saudis. There a while ago.
Sounds like a movie. Golfing with the Saudis.
Yeah. You got my money? Yeah. Okay.
He golfed today, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
It costs like $10 million every time he goes golfing.
Didn't he ever learn anything from Marie Antoinette? Isn't this the modern version of let him eat cake? Is going out and playing golf after doing what he just did?
He's listening to Laura Loomer.
Yeah,
he fired the head of the NSA because Laura Loomer told him to.
Yeah,
he's crazy. She said 9/11 was an inside job. She's like totally out there.
Yeah. But she got them to let go of the head of the head of
NSA
today.
And these are people who know what they're doing. The
one guy that wasn't on the Signal chat.
Well,
I'm doing nothing.
The NSA is a group of people who keep an eye out for what's happening, and they know where the bodies are buried and so on. And he should hold on to them like grim death. But no, she said, let them go. They're not. They are not.
He's not loyal enough.
They're not loyal enough to you.
Not loyal enough.
So we let them all go. On Laura Loomer's say so. So I mean, who's running this country? Laura Loomer, Elon Musk. A bunch of people we never elected to office, and were never approved anywhere else in the government, but they've got the ear of Donald Trump. Why? Because they kiss his ass. They say
apparently
wonderful.
There's a person who's Musk's assistant too, who has a ton of power, but I don't. Most people have never heard the person's name, and I can't even remember. You never see this person, but they have incredible amount of power.
Well, I've just maintained, and I've felt for the longest time, that there's somebody else pulling the strings.
Russians.
And I don't know who it is or whatever, but it is almost strings that are being pulled by people who want to completely destroy this country.
I think it's the Russians, and I think Trump is an asset, and they have something on him.
Could well be.
I really do.
Golden shower.
The P-tape, whatever the hell it is, I don't know.
He owes somebody something that
That's
he's
what Carvel says.
Well, all I'm saying is that, you know, I mean, it's obvious to me that there is somebody else pulling the strings, and he's just doing what they say.
It's Putin.
Yep.
You think it's Putin?
I'm almost
playing
positive
him.
it's Putin.
He's playing him like a fiddle. There's
It looks
no
like
doubt
Putin
about
to
that.
me. Everything points to Putin.
Well, the other day he said he was mad at Putin and that he was going to give him extra tariffs if he didn't be nicer with the
You know what
Ukraine
Putin says?
situation.
Fuck you. Who
Well,
cares?
that was all a show. He didn't even go up there.
It was very obvious the other day when it came to Russia and there were no tariffs against Russia.
Yeah. We hit the Vietnamese, but we won't hit Russia. We'll stop funding for the Ukraine.
We won't hit Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I swear to God, I think it's Putin.
Vietnam or Cambodia tried to negotiate some tariffs, and he said, "Oh, we're going to go along with that." And the problem is that they do like zero business. You know, they spend $1 million or $2 million on us, and we export or we import from them billions of dollars. So it doesn't affect them at all.
Yeah.
It's just shit on his list. It's a shit list.
Well, as they say, you know, those penguins, man, are they going to be pissed?
Yeah.
You know. And believe me, Shecky told me when he went to Antarctica.
Remember
It was a piece of information he gave me that I thought was the most valuable piece of information anybody has given me. He said, under no means go down to Antarctica. There's nothing worse than the smell of penguin shit.
Yeah, he told me that. Yeah, I remember visiting him that Saturday.
Yeah. He said it was terrible. It made my eyes water.
It's got to be small, Alex, right? Because they're little, right?
Well, it depends. There's a king penguins. They're big.
Oh, they're big. They're fairly big. They're bigger than they look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
you got to go to the zoo more often, Tony.
I haven't gone to the Bronx.
One of the biggest zoos in the country. You don't know what a penguin looks like? I mean, how tall it stands?
I still think it would be smaller, cocky, but whatever.
Most penguins probably got more brain power than Trump, so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look cute, but they're the most vicious animal on the planet.
Next to Trump.
Actually, who is a natural enemy of the penguin?
Seals.
You're correct. Yeah. You're absolutely correct. See, when you tune into this program, even when it's the only one I do this week, you get some kind of information that.
So check this out. So the emperor penguins in Antarctica are 4 feet tall and weigh between 50 to 100 pounds.
And they're the ones that have the babies and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they take care of them.
Wow, they're huge.
The males.
I didn't know they were that big.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
God.
So anyway, you know, I'm just saying that about penguins. All they have to come over and do is shit all over us, and we're dead. You know?
That's like a big dog shit.
Hmm?
That's like if you have a large dog.
The problem with
I've raised an expert at
the
this.
problem with their defecation, which I will say so we don't get, you know.
Oh, defecation.
You don't
sorry.
use that word too often.
Shite.
We
I
already
meant to
used
say
it to
shite.
describe the Trump administration.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
But the only reason why now I forgot what I was going to say. Forget it. Was that important if I can't remember it?
Sorry.
So anyway, so what do? We can't do anything. You know, this guy is. I mean, this country could completely go into financial collapse, and he would not admit he had done anything wrong.
Yeah.
He'd dig his heels in further.
Oh, he thinks that if he sticks with this, it's just going to be gold for us, you know. And he's wrong.
Pay for that $4 trillion tax cut.
Well, you know, this whole notion about the tariffs is something that last time it was really popular was 1920.
Yep.
You know, And beyond that, even Reagan said tariffs were a bad idea.
Yeah, you can find a speech Reagan gave about why tariffs are a bad idea.
Yeah.
I just watched it the other day.
Yeah.
And he lays it out really well.
So, I mean, and you know, I mean, all these other people that are going along with him, jeez almighty. By the way, have you asked Phil how he feels about this right now? Have you asked him how much money he has left?
Yeah, he's not invested in the stock market, I'm sure. So
really, where do you put your money?
You know the weird thing about stock market for me. I mean, I've been in it for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
When Biden was in office, my stock portfolio stayed about the same. Went up a couple thousand, down a couple thousand. When Trump got in office, it went up 10%. Up 10%.
Where is it now, though?
It's still about $40,000 more than it was when Biden was in office. I'm still ahead of the game.
The question is what you're invested in.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Absolutely. So I have Shell Oil Company, Cisco, the company that makes routers.
Yeah,
not the food service. I have Philip Morris, which is hurting big time in other countries in here.
Mm-hmm.
I have Budweiser. I have Kraft Foods. I got Mondelez, which is another international food company. I got Johnson & Johnson, which yesterday took a $12 plunge. And today another. So, but yeah, these are, they're definitely dropping. What I'm not looking at, what I'm afraid to look at is my managed part of my portfolio, which is my mutual funds. And I'm sure they're hurting a lot more than my 8 or 9 stocks, individual
Well,
stocks.
I don't know. I have somebody handling all my money.
Lucky you.
Okay. And he has a pretty good record.
Yeah, you said that before.
Yeah, and
looking for another client.
Well, so I mean, I don't know though. He did do some manipulating of my money about 3 days ago. Now, what he did, I have no idea because that's not the time to sell. So he may have done something, to protect me, but. And my business manager says that, I still have as much money as I was when we started off, so I don't know. I don't understand any of it. So I'm going to call my business manager after tax season and get a little lesson, and where my money is exactly and what it's doing and how much I have or don't have. But I asked him today, I said, are we in good enough shape that that I can live out the rest of my life without having to worry? And he said, absolutely. So I'll believe him. He knows what he's talking about. And then
How
he
old
went,
is he?
huh?
How old is your
90 years old.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably not looking for any more clients. I could use somebody like that.
No, I doubt if he's looking for any more clients. And, he's 90. And I don't know what we're going to do when he goes, because he knows where all my finances are and everything. But so does his wife. So,
And she's 17. So
she's 17. Right, exactly. So, but no, so whatever. I just it almost got today was getting hilarious looking at how at one point it was at 2,000 minus 2,000. Wow. You really got to work at that one.
That's how it ended, 2,200.
What?
It ended at minus 2,200.
It ended 2,200. I haven't looked at it.
Yep.
It wasn't that bad.
Well, let me see.
Yeah, it was.
Where is
Was
it?
That sounds pretty bad to me.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I'm trying to remember where I have.
You're right. 2231 the Dow, but the Dow is only 30 stocks. The Nasdaq and the S&P 500 are the real movers.
Yeah, well, they're doing crappy too.
Of course
So
they are. The Nasdaq's down almost 1,000. The S&P 500 is down 332.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I have some of my stocks. I mean, I lost a lot of money today, but I'm still ahead of when Biden was in office, and I don't understand that. So let's see. My biggest loss today was Philip Morris, down $12 a share.
But you know what you have to keep in mind, though, Alan? He's only in 75 days. Think how much topic he's wrecked in 75 days.
Oh, no shit, Tony. I agree with you, buddy.
Well, I mean,
75 days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, we've got him for another. How long is it?
We got to win the midterms and lock them up.
Well, some stupid Democrat was on MSNBC. I ended up on the station by accident last night, and said, "Boy, I wish somebody would shoot him." And I thought, "Boy, that's a horrible thing to say," but I don't wish that. I hope he dies of natural causes or get some better intelligence and straightens things out.
Yeah, but you see, you can wish that all you want, but who comes next in line?
I don't want to see him get assassinated.
JD Vance comes next in line, and let's say they're on the same plane together, and it goes down. You've still got the head of the what's his name? Johnson.
Yeah.
So I mean, come on, we're in bad shape all the way around.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought it was really weird for somebody to say something like that on the news. I mean, people say to me, "Oh, I bet you want to see that," and I'm like, "No, I don't want to see him get assassinated. Makes a martyr out of him, and the next in line is probably just as bad."
Well, I think the attempted assassination actually, boosted it. Actually made it more popular.
Yeah,
probably.
Well, I claim that thing was. I'm not that sure that he was actually shot at. I mean,
there's people who died behind him.
I don't care if people died behind him.
The other guy did die.
Yeah, I don't care if somebody died behind him. I think what was fake was his ear being hit. Yeah. Because to begin with, he held his ear. We don't know why it was bleeding. He could have actually had a squib in his hand, But he the next day he was wearing his tampon on his ear.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then he was wearing that tampon for about 3 days, and when it came off, there was nothing there.
Nothing there.
He'd have a scar.
So you think he purposely had people murdered behind him?
Yeah,
I wouldn't put it past him.
I don't think so.
Do you doubt that that's a possibility?
I think it's a little far-fetched.
But it's a little far-fetched. We're talking about Donald Trump here. We're not talking about a normal, rational human being.
Yeah, but it would take the cooperation of a lot of people.
Yeah. You know what I could buy into, Ray, guys? How that shooter got up on there and they didn't zero him out. How he got that close to him.
Yeah. There's something very phony.
I believe. How do you get that close?
Something very phony about that whole deal. There's just something just doesn't sit right with me.
That's what I would question. Like, how did he get?
Because the part about the fact that he was wearing that tampon to the convention, and then 2 days later he didn't have it on any longer, and there wasn't a nick, there wasn't a blood mark there was nothing.
It was just it hit the outer part of his ear.
Your head bleeds a lot.
I've been absolutely headshots bleed a lot, but I've been to shootings. I've been to where people have got shot and stuff like that a lot more than most people on the show. But what would have caused that? He said it felt like the worst mosquito bite ever. Well, yeah, probably did. There was a bullet moving at 2,400 feet per second.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, why wasn't there a mark there after he took that little tampon off?
I don't know the answer to that, but I can say, think about people who get their ears pierced. Get a big ear piercing, leave it in for a week, take it out, and their ear looks normal.
Their ear's got a hole in it.
Yeah, but it looks pretty well. But this didn't go through.
I still have the holes in my ear from when I had it pierced, and that was 40 years ago.
Is that when you were belly dancing? No. So anyhow, I think it nicked his ear. It didn't go through it. And I don't know. Yeah, it probably gave him more points. The other time they said that he was assassinated, the guy never even got off a round. He was out shooting squirrels on the golf.
That was not an assassination attempt.
No, it was
not a round was fired. The guy wasn't sitting there.
I agree.
You know.
I agree. That's my whole point.
Boy, here's Brian Neary. He's become the new Don Giller. Hello. Oh, hey, there we go. There we go. There's your daughter with her goofy face.
Wait till you play this back to her 5 years from now. And she'll say,
well, if you're gonna make wait a minute, Adrian, if you're gonna make a goofy face, then you better have somebody call you as having a goofy face.
Just call her Goofy.
What is going on?
Oh,
there's a cat.
There's a cat. Or is that Adrian? No, that's the cat.
That's a cat in a foot.
Yeah.
Cat videos.
I'll tell you, this is so much better than talking about Trump.
Oh yeah.
Gosh. Hi.
Hello.
How's everybody?
How you doing?
Hey, Don Geller too.
How's your back?
Today.
Did you talk about that for an hour?
It's a little better. It was my lower back.
Oh, sorry, your lower back. No, I hate back problems.
No, and it was pretty terrible for a couple of days. It was very difficult for me to even get up and walk. I couldn't get up out of bed.
Yes, the sciatica is the same thing. I when I try to get out of bed, I say I got to go pee, and then like in a minute I'm on the floor.
Yeah, well, I didn't have. It wasn't sciatica. It turned out it wasn't sciatica.
So back issues are back. Yeah.
But that it was something. You know.
Didn't your company send him some free pain pills, Brian?
I'm unemployed and I'm homeless.
Well, Marjorie has pain pills, okay, but she will not share, okay. And yesterday my back was killing me, and I said, "Give me a half of one of your pain pills," and she gave it to me, and it made the pain go away.
I know.
Oh.
That's the last one I'm going to give you.
You know, the trouble is it was Tylenol.
No, it wasn't. I tried Tylenol. I tried ibuprofen, which is not good for me. I tried aspirin. You know, none of them were working. And then she gave me this pill, and it worked. So when I went to the doctor today, I said, well, you know, my wife is taking these heavy-duty pain pills, and I tried one of those, and it seemed to make the pain go away. And he said, just try some Tylenol again if you can. And... see if that's okay. And if it isn't, don't use one of your wife's pain pills. And she looked at me in the doctor's office and went, see?
She's a great drug dealer. She gave you the first one for free.
It was good, though. It was terrific, you know?
I'm all moved out, by the way. All my stuff is gone.
Well, is that your latest house?
This is Lathrop. So I'm here
till
Tuesday, and then all my stuff's in the pod, and then I'll be at an extended stay hotel for a few weeks until I get my new house.
I'm going to Stockton tomorrow. I could stop by and see you.
Quickly.
Oh yeah, good. I got some stuff to load. You can come over. No, just
quickly. Have you gotten a new job?
I start consulting on Monday, and then I'm on third round of interviews for 2 biotech companies. Yeah, so I'm doing good.
Good.
If you want to go to a car show in Lodi, that's what I'm going to be doing after that. I'm dropping the kids' trailer off at the arena and then going to a little car show in Lodi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Stuck there again.
And Clements.
We can go swimming. Bring your Speedo. We go swimming for a while.
Speedo.
That I gotta get. We gotta get
pictures.
Yeah.
Pictures didn't happen.
Well, we're playing the theme song.
We'll go with the didn't happen.
I can think of something worse, Kevin. Me and Speedos. I weigh more than you.
A theme
song. You do like a sumo wrestling thing.
Yeah, you just got on, right? It's good. Anyway, hey, listen, Jeff, nice having you here, as always. And
feel better.
And Tom Yamaguchi, thank you so much. Alan, good having you here. Kevin, great having you around. Tony, nice of you to call us tonight. So nice for you to do that.
Nice meeting you.
Ray, always a pleasure to have you here. Charlie, you're always here, and we always like it, you know. And Brian and Adrian, thank you. Yeah.
Remember when she was shy before? Remember when she was younger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
What happened to that?
Now she's getting like any other woman. You can't shut her up. Anyway.
Wait till she's a teenager.
Yeah, everybody. Why don't you give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. Okay, there they go. That's our citizen panel. Amy Manuel is next over most of this same station, and she'll be taking your calls on Skype, still on Skype until we get things turned around here, until I get better. She'll be taking your calls on Skype at Gabnet Live. Okay, I'll see you again on Monday with the pop-up show, and that will be at 4 o'clock on Facebook, and then we will be back again here on Wednesday, same time, same station, life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.